Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Little Box Effects. And if you're brand new to this channel, if you're just hearing about Little Box, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for engaging. Please hit subscribe below if you want to keep up to date with more video demos and new releases that we have added to the collection. I really appreciate that support. Little Box is an online retail shop that I started a few years back. I've been in the pedal world and the gear community for over a decade now in different capacities, and I wanted to start curating a really tight collection of predominantly pedals, guitars, occasionally amps that I love from builders that I've admired for years and for ones that are just coming onto the scene. And bring them to you to kind of help alleviate or circumvent some of the filtering and some of the research and wondering about what is right for you and your rig. So I get excited about offering these pedals to you at Little Box. I'm always interested in chatting about what might be best for your needs or your rig. So hit me up on Instagram or through the website, and I'd love to chat and help you find what is next for your rig. Today, we are checking out a brand new pedal from one of my favorite builders, Bondi Effects, over in Australia. It is the Squish As. And it's a fantastic, really user-friendly, great sounding compressor pedal. And we're just going to dive into the Squish As. So this is a follow-on to his 2026 compressor that was out a handful of years back and then discontinued. He kind of refined and redesigned the circuit and the pedal to be really user-friendly, to be great sounding, quiet, and just really versatile across different applications. It is a full range compressor, so you can throw anything you want at it from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Very compact, traditional pedal sized compressor with some nice features and controls. So let's start by digging into the control set here. The top row, you've got an output, which is essentially your makeup volume, and it goes from negative 20 dB to positive 20 dB with unity being in the center there. You've got a ratio control, which on the left side of the knob goes up to about 4:1 ratio, and then as you dial it clockwise from noon, you hit about 10:1 at 3 o'clock there, and then it goes to max at the end there. The sensitivity control can be thought of as a threshold, but it's labeled a little bit more friendly to players that maybe aren't used to the compression terminology. So at minimum, you have a negative 6 dB sensitivity, which basically means you got to throw a pretty hot signal at the compressor for it to start to work. As you dial it clockwise up to noon and beyond, that threshold comes down. So you can send quieter signals into the compressor and it will still do its thing to kind of help squish the sound there. The tone control is a really nice tilt style EQ, voiced right around 900 hertz to give that kind of upper mid range. A tilt there. To the right, you get a brighter sounding wet signal, and to the left, you get a darker sounding wet signal as well there in a tilt style. And then on the right here, you have a blend control, which is really great because it allows you to do parallel compression. Essentially, you can dial in your compressor to feel either extreme or moderate or whatnot, and then use the blend control to blend in the compressed signal with your dry sound. So if you want to have a really intense compression effect, but just lightly blend it into your dry sound, you can do that. If you want a light compressor with a pretty heavy blend where you're getting a lot of the wet signal, you can do that, and anywhere in between. Then below here, a really fantastic feature in this is the gain reduction meter. So in real time, you can get some user feedback as to what the compressor is doing and how much gain reduction is happening. I think it's fantastic that Bondi was able to include this in the design. It's always useful to have that feedback real time to see what the compressor is doing, because sometimes if you're using a more subtle setting, it can be really hard for your ears to really be attuned to like what's actually happening. This gives you some visual feedback into what the compressor is actually doing. So we're going to get into some sound samples here in a second. I'm going to do more turning the pedal on and off than I usually do in demos to just kind of show sort of A/B comparison of what the compressor is doing. And we're going to go through a whole range of settings. We're going to add some gain and some other effects after the compressor too, to see how that combination of effects sounds with the compressor at the start of the board here. And I think the Squish As is just a really great choice for players maybe that have been scared away by compressors because they're confusing or the control set is hard to navigate. It's also really fantastic for how I use compressors personally. I tend to have them always on if I use them at all. This is a really great compressor to use, as it just sort of sweetens your tone, can kind of help glue everything together without being too extreme or too coloring of your tone. It really works fantastic for that sort of application too. So check it out in the sound samples. We're going to dive into those in a second here. I'm using a Fender Vintera 2 Mustang. I'm going to run into the pedal board here with Squish As at the start of the chain. We've got a Little Box exclusive Squish As, his overdrive that's sort of in the vein of a Klon, and we're going to run that after the Squish As here onto a Strymon L cap and the Boss RV200 for a little bit of delay and reverb at points. Running that into a 68 Fender Pro reverb amp with the aux box on top there, and yeah, check it out. So there it is. That's the new Bondi Squish As compressor. It's available now through Little Box Effects at the link below. You can also check out a bunch more information and design notes on the pedal through Bondi's website. John, the builder, went through and created a blog post to kind of explain some of the under the hood kind of nuances of the compression circuit for those that want to dive a little bit more into how he handles things like attack and release and such like that. There's some great graphs and pictorial explanations of things too. So check that out. Grab one of these at Little Box Effects. Pick up Squish As while you're at it, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.